Hello class. Are you all set? Because we will going to start our lesson for this day. To start our class for today, may I request Miss Borgos to lead our 1 minute prayer that is presented in our PowerPoint presentation for today. Amen. Amen. So good morning class. Okay, good morning. So, as I can see, we are 25 in this online conference. So, I think the others are still on trying to log in maybe for our virtual conference for today. So, are you all doing good or not because of the heavy rain, the heavy wind, and of course the pandemic because it's still ongoing and we are still living for a long period of time. Now we are in 2 years journey of fighting the invisible coronavirus. So before we proceed to our class, may I ask who is absent? Maybe no. Miss Surat, kindly check the attendance, take a screenshot of it, and send it to me directly on my messenger. Okay? Thank you. And before I forgot, do we have any assignments that I gave you yesterday? Because as far as I remember, we have an assignment yesterday that I gave to you before we end our session through virtual like this yesterday. So I hope you really pass it in our GC through PDF and Word file in order for me to easily check and to access your assignments, because it's not easy as like in a Microsoft Word and PDF if you're going to use a Google Drive, because I need to ask for an access first and password for you before I can open the file. So are we all set now? Okay. So since we are all
Okay, class, before we proceed to our next lesson, let us first review what was our previous lesson is. So yesterday, we talked about the fiction and non-fiction literature. So today, we're going to discuss briefly what is fiction and non-fiction literature. So what is fiction literature? It refers to any type of literature that is created from the author's imagination and typically has a narrative. It describes imaginary events and people. Now, what are the examples of fiction literature? So we have here, first, fantasy, mysteries, short story, novels, fairy tales, comic books, and romance. So it is not presented as a fact, though it may be based on a true story. So that is the fiction literature. Now let's proceed to non-fiction literature. Non-fiction literature refers to literature based on fact. Non-fiction is the broadest category of literature. Non-fiction literature also is a prose writing that is based on facts, real events, and real people, such as biography or history. So what are the examples of non-fiction literature? So we have first here the biography, journals, theses, academic writings, autobiographies, and memoir. So, since we finished discussing briefly the previous lesson, let's proceed to our unfamiliar words or unlocking of difficulties of our new lesson. Now, we have here the word ballad. A ballad is a poem or song narrating a story in a short stanzas. Next we have ope, a short term for open, so we call it ope. Next is the deeds. It is an action that performed intentionally or consciously. Next one is the shed. Shed is to get rid of something. For example, shed in a sentence we have here, she shed her tears off of her cheeks. So we use shed here to wipe off her tears. Now next one, or in the last one, is the word maiden. So when we say maiden, it is a girl or a woman, especially an unmarried one.
By the way, class, please pick up some pieces of paper under your chair and go back to your seats properly. Before we proceed to our discussion proper for today's lesson, let's have an activity first. This game is what we call Don't Sacrifice. So what we are going to do is I will be dividing you into two groups, and each groups will consist a 10 members. So each group will have two chances to pass the word. So class, I have here an envelope. So this envelope is consist of different words. So what we're going to do is the leader will portray the word inside of it, and the member will guess what the word inside of it. So each member will be given a 1 minute to guess. So fail to identify or guess the word will have the chance to tap anyone from the group to answer. But remember class, every decision or move will be having a consequences afterwards.
So now that we are now done in the activity that we have done a while ago, at this moment, I'm going to ask you just a few questions that is a just a reflection or reaction towards the activity that we have done a while ago, which is the game called Don't Sacrifice. So the following questions that I'm going to ask you are just a guide to us and can help us and give us an idea on what will be our lesson for today. Is that okay, class? Okay, very good. So the first question that I'm going to ask you all is, what have you observed in our activity? Anyone? Yes, Miss Salido. You turn on your camera at the same time you unmute your microphone. Okay, very good. You observe in our activity, Miss Salido observe in our activity that it is all about a time pressure, and also the sacrifice that is the number one mechanics in the activity or in the game. So very good. You really participate well in our activity for this morning. Next question is, what did you feel when because I see some of you in another group. I don't know if it's group 1 or group 2, but I think there is one group that someone tapped his or her classmate. So may I ask you, what did you feel when your classmate or your group mate suddenly taps you or calls you um to call you to answer the action that is doing by your leader? Yes, Mr. Carillo. Okay, very good. Okay, you feel shocked, you feel nervous at the same time because it corresponds a consequence after. Wow, so very good, very good, very good. So, my third question is, do you think, since to the person have been taught, may I ask you for just a follow-up question? It's just another question that you will answer it wholeheartedly, or it depends on you on where are you comfortable with, okay? So, do you think sacrificing or tapping your classmate, is it can help you or your group to succeed or to attain the goal for your group? Okay, it depends on the situation. So, very good, class. And for our last question to wrap up this activity, and we will be going to our main topic, or for example, in a restaurant, we will be going to the main dish of the reason why we are here. For example, in school, why are we here? because it's to study and to learn. Okay, so at this moment, I'm going to ask you, do you have any idea what is our lesson for today, or what I am going to share it with you, or what I'm going to present it with you, class? Do you have any idea? You can answer it. Okay. Someone answer like Miss Marabi says that our lesson is about one of the literary piece here in the Philippines. Okay, correct. Pwede yon. Next. Okay, another literary pieces that is famous in the Philippines, and one of the, just like Miss Silva says, that it is one of the finest author in the Philippines. So, are we all excited for our lesson for today? Okay, so very good, class, and for today, our lesson is all about